partner or should go along with that zoning, maybe a conditional kind of zoning that would be tagged on to that property, leaving flexibility, of course, in the design by the developers, but calling out that because of the sensitivity of that property and the proximity to the floodplain, and that we're already seeing flooding in that area, that might be one technique that the council can take to really visibly show recognition of that land being an area that needs to have recharge and not runoff into that floodplain that's already at its limits. So thank you so much, and I appreciate the careful consideration of this. I'm so happy to see so many people here speaking up for this and for and against it, but in regards to this. Again, I think the proposal of a form-based code is always the right approach. I think we have some tools in place in our drainage criteria manual that can help, but I would recommend really calling those out specifically in this in order to really recognize that any development that might come into this zoning as a result of this would need to follow some very specific techniques to protect those downstream homeowners. And again, you are only deciding on the zoning, so that means there is some flexibility that could happen to this property on down the line. So you have that ability to tack on some extra expectations in the zoning process, and I hope you'll consider using that. Hi.
I just have a question. What I'm struggling with is that I do think this would be developed at some point. It's too nice to be a piece of property and the economy being what it is. Would you be more concerned, less concerned, or equally as concerned if it was a development following the RSF4 type scenario as some of the other developments down Mount Comfort did and some things like that? I'm just curious if that makes an impact in your mind one way or the other.
I would be equally concerned. I think any sort of increase in impervious surface or driveways, roofs in that area is going to cause an impact. I know that we have good engineers and good techniques in place, but this calls for some extra recognition of the need for those technical designs on this property. I am a fan of form-based. I think it creates more community, it creates more walkability, but it doesn't necessarily address the runoff issues.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Dr. Lewis, would some bills of assurance concerning low impact development, would that meet our need, do you think?
I think
is that appropriate?
That would be one of the tools that should be considered, I think, sure.
And of course, we know that those do follow the zoning. So if this developer didn't develop and someone else bought it, they would still be tied to that. Is
Right,
that correct?
Exactly.
Thank you.
It's a great idea.
Okay, any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Bob.
When you're looking at the way that this is proposed, there's high density on one end and then it goes less. Do you think the way that it's arranged in this is manageable? Because really it's putting the high density in one area rather than spreading it, or multifamily density.
For the project or the zoning?
With the zoning, because the zoning is actually a
Change, right, so the zoning is more dense further away. I think that is a good technique, and I still think the whole property has issues because of, like I said, that area is flooding already. So breaking up that impervious surface is going to be key, and really ensuring that the water is slowed down and able to soak in is going to be really important.
Anything else? No.
Thank you very much.
Okay, who else would like to address the service?
Well, Mayor, if I may, Aubrey Shepherd, I got here late. I forgot you were moving tonight temporarily. The things that Sarah said were perfectly in line. I think in the future, there should always be more attention paid to what's going to happen downstream in the future. Right now, we're looking at development upstream affecting that land by adding more water. Each square foot, each little parcel, each little inch or two of impervious surface that we add will endanger property downstream. And that property hasn't been proposed for development in many cases. Probably there are some that are right now already developed that nobody's even come to speak about. They're downstream from there. So this really is the most important concern. And by the way, it's the birthday today of the Buffalo River. Was that 1974 when it was actually turned over? So that's one of the win-wins in Arkansas. Sort of about some of the same things. Wildlife habitat and water that can be enjoyed instead of hated. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address us on this?